everyone, my name is Natalie Garcia and I will be going over my thematic project on perseverance. The book choices for my project were Esperanza Rising by Pam Munoz Ryan, I Lived on Butterfly Hill by Marjorie Agosin, One Shadow on the Wall by Leah Henderson, Wonderstruck by Brian Celsinocone, Dancing Home by Alma Florada, and three poems, Mother to Son by Langston Hughes, Second Attempt Crossing by Javier Saramora, and Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. The first story, the main character faces the challenges of separation from her grandmother, the death of her beloved father, escaping to the United States, and working in a migrant farm. Book 2, the main character faces a few obstacles, such as having to leave Chile because it was taken over by a military dictatorship, and her friends began disappearing, and her parents had to go in hiding because of the political unrest that was going on at that time. She did leave her grandmother and her nana behind and went to live with one of her aunts in the United States. She had to adapt to the new climate, culture, language, and a new school. It was very difficult at first, but she did overcome everything. On book 3, the main character, a young boy, loses his parents, and he have had to keep a promise of taking care of his sisters. This became very difficult for him, and he faced other problems. He was targeted by a gang, and at the end, he does overcome all the challenges as well. Wonderstruck is a story of a character that suffers deafness due to an accident, and after his mother dies, he begins to search for his dad. So he did feel very isolated and alone, and he never gave up in finding a family to love, which he does find at the end. Dancing Home is a story about two young girls. One of them struggles to accept the other girl, who's her cousin, that came from Mexico, and she does reject her native roots. She identifies as American and only speaking English, so she does feel disconnected from her cultural roots. At the end of the story, she does overcome it and accepts both of her cultures. For the book choice 1 and 2, the topics are family separation and two young girls that struggle with moving to another country and due to escaping danger. So I think if I focus on these two lessons to explain a little bit about the theme and how I incorporated the reading and comprehension strategies, so the students will be able to read the books and discuss. Before reading the books, they will discuss topics about family separation, just opening up why, children are separated from their families, if it's something that is only common in one country or if it's many countries. They will be provided with nonfiction resources, such as videos about migrant farm workers and the strikes, little articles and biographies of real events. The students will be given opportunities to read with partners or in book clubs. They can also do some roll sheets to finish each of the books. As they read the books, they will discuss questions or main events that are happening, and they can even make predictions or connections. They will identify all the topics mentioned and also how each character persevered and overcame the challenges in different settings and different situations. For the first book, Esperanza Rising, the little girl was, wealthy, and she had a very good life. She had servants, and she just lived a wonderful life in Mexico. But then, due to her father dying, and they had to leave for their safety, she realized that her world went upside down. It was complete opposite. She had nothing. She had to even learn little things about how to sweep. She began working at a very young age, and she experienced a lot. but she was able to overcome everything. I did add a few supplemental videos, nonfiction resources, such as another similar event from the Filipino strike. This can be also watched and made, the students can make connections from the Mexican California strikes, as well as the Filipino grape strikes. They can read about Cesar Chavez and his fight for the rights of farm workers, as well as how things have changed over the years, or if they have been, if they're still the same, what they can do for social justice, brainstorm ideas on how to make a difference in society. I do think that there will be a lot of lessons learned. They will get insight on the difficult lives immigrants face, discrimination, harsh living conditions, separating from their families, and how they do persevere. So any students that can connect to these stories on a personal level will probably get some inspiration, and they just, they'll feel more connected to the readings. The second story is similar. The little girl that moved from Chile to the United States. She went to school, she had friends in her country, and then she had to start all over. So it was very difficult, but she did overcome it. The students can also watch a short video about the Chile dictatorship and why it happened. During reading the story, they can turn and talk to their partners if they're reading in partners, or if they're doing a book club, they can always stop after each chapter and go over important events. Because post-activity after reading, I just selected timeline of events in which the students will be able to plot in order the events of the story. I do have some lesson ideas, such as finding the definition of perseverance and how each character has traits that fall under this. They can do some history research on other strikes that happened in the past. They can compare and contrast the working conditions of migrant farm workers. They can also, make connections if they have experienced family separation, or how they would feel if they were, in their shoes of the characters in these stories. And these are a couple of the resources that I put on my thematic project. And that was it for me.